What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Meathead podcast. I want to introduce our panel for this week. Joining me in Big Mike Cox, who's listed as Eduardo Kwak. And I want to see in the comments how many of you know who that was. We have from Las Vegas, IFBB Classic Physique Pro and host of the Overcome Cast, Leo Mayrhofer. What's up, Leo?
What's up? It's podcast, not cast.
Okay, sorry. It's Overcome Cast. See, I got it right on this. See? I got it listed there. And all the way from Rhode Island, very, very far away from me, IFBB 212 Pro and contest promoter. Please welcome Justin Randall. What's up, guys? Also, they're both prep coaches, so they all have everyone here has a really good perspective. We're going to jump right in. This story just broke today. I had no idea. I don't think anyone outside of Derek's inner circle knew about this pec tear. So he won his second Mr. Olympia title, third Olympia title, 32 days, ooh, there it goes, after tearing his left pec, ouch, while pressing a pair of 150s, which he said wasn't very heavy for him. Man, I don't know why he was even attempting to still train with it like that. Yeah, I mean, did any of you guys hear anything about this? Because some of you guys hear the rumors, but long before they become well-known.
I heard nothing.
Yeah. So obviously it wasn't a full tear. If it was a full tear, he would have had a huge tear and he would have had to do some sort of, he would have had to have surgery. He wouldn't have done the Olympia. So clearly it was a partial tear and it healed rather quickly, I would say. Because by the time we get him to the Olympia stage, just a month later, he looked like this. I don't notice a thing. Did anybody notice anything going on with the front poses or the side chest or anything? Obviously, he's going to hit the side chest from the other side.
He wasn't posting a lot of like shirtless pictures either. Usually he's posting a lot of full body shots, so that kind of makes sense as to why he was just posting a lot of leg shots and a lot of like covered up shots. So, but you couldn't tell it. You couldn't notice anything. It wasn't like the Kevin LeBron tear from back in '93, but it didn't. I didn't notice anything. I didn't notice any kind of like atrophy or bruising, or it didn't hurt his physique whatsoever, in my opinion.
What do you think, Justin?
So that's what I'm shocked with is, even with tan on and everything, you'd think you'd notice a little bit of bruising, and pec tear isn't that's not a minor thing, so, I mean, obviously it's not that he was still able to train leading into the Olympia, but, I didn't notice anything, so, I mean, I can only imagine what was going through his head when that happened, that instant, fear of, this close to the Olympia, but, props to him. And honestly, the one after hearing this, that he had the pec tear, I really respect it because you guys know how it is these days. A lot of competitors, they would have released that right away. Not as like necessarily an excuse, but almost like, okay, I have a pec tear, so don't expect my best. As kind of like a cushion for themselves, but he said nothing of it. He just went out there and like nothing happened, didn't let his fans know anything. And I think that just takes some balls. Yeah.
Leo, you've competed and probably had injuries during prep, minor injuries. You've coached people. I'm astonished at this. What about you that he was able to pull this off?
Yeah. I never got injured in my whole life.
Oh, wow.
Because I can train. Most of the people can't. No, people could also say could now say he doesn't train hard enough. Yeah. I think it was the right call because if he would have said something, and if it would have showed just a bit, everyone would have just focused on that, and he might have been judged worse than he actually looked, because he wouldn't know if you see it. If you don't know, you might miss it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he couldn't tell 32 days out when it happened. So I think it was the right call to be like, let's not say anything because that might even hurt me if they know. Like, when was that? 1980? Yeah. When Arnold told the judges that Tom Platz had a torn bicep, and they would all just focus on his bicep. And then, that could make it worse if they hadn't known. You might get a better score. So I think it would have been stupid to come up with that excuse because you can still pull the excuse in hindsight, like afterwards,
Right.
Mhm.
So that, yeah, I would not publish that if I would be competing. I mean, if it's me, I'm so irrelevant that I could probably publish it. But for him, I think that's the right call. And it was crazy that after 16 days, he said he could actually train fully again, but he just didn't because he didn't want to, risk anything. But that's kind of wild. So I'm thinking he had some magic peptides. But probably it wasn't like a full crazy tear.
Yeah.
And he said it didn't like get blue right away. It took a while. And he kind of immediately flexed and looked what it looks like, and I think that calmed him down a little bit. So he was like, yeah, it's bad, but maybe not that bad. So, but yeah, kudos to him and kudos to his surrounding, his environment, because with other people, it would have gotten out. I'm very surprised that really it didn't get out at all.
Yeah.
Especially with social growth, especially how shit gets out. You know how the rumor mill works. So if you listen, you gotta respect. You have to be freaking out that close to a show and feel that twinge, and then to see it bruise up. Your cortisol levels has to be going through the roof. Your mind has to be racing, and you gotta know, like, fans already how fans think nowadays, that like they kind of like they want to see you fail to begin with, and like they wouldn't give a shit if you had to pull out. They'd be waiting to talk shit about Derek if you had to pull off the show. So props to him, man. Like, you didn't see jack shit on stage with that, and that's real. Like, that's man shit right there, bro. Like, that's man fuck up and handle your business type shit for real.
Now, you guys all have. I know, Leo. You know a lot about peptides. You actually wrote an ebook about it. Go to his Overcome Cast. I think there's
It's
a link.
free.
It's free. It's free. Oh,
The ebook
can't
is
be
free.
free. So I'll ask you and then Justin. But how much faster can these healing peptides, the BPC 157, TB 500, how much faster can you heal using, say, large doses? I'm imagining those versus not taking them at all.
I mean, it can really, really, really speed it up. It's a little different for different people, but it can at least like double, cut the time in half, or maybe even a third in some cases. But if it's a full tear, no way, it's 2 weeks still. So that's so it wasn't. It could not have been, but good for him. But he also said that in that video that these 70 kilos, like, he usually easily moves them. So he was even thinking of going heavier, but he was like, let's just do the 70. So
kilos, we got to make that. We always have to make, because us dumb Americans, we don't know kilos.
Yeah, he said kilos. I don't like. Apparently, they train with kilos over there.
Well, some of us know about kilos. How to translate that?
It's kind of like 140, 70. It's like 100.
It's like 154. Yeah,
2.2. Multiplied by 2.2.
He's not being accurate because we don't have like kilo dumbbells in the U.S. I think he was just trying to make it relatable for the rest of the world.
The
Justin,
New Tech gym here has actually kilo dumbbells.
Oh, that is. I've never seen that in the United States, but they're basically
from Korea. So
they're Korean.
That's why.
Yeah, Justin, do you have experience with the healing peptides with you or your clients?
So I've used BPC for a little while, mainly just for joint pain and stuff. So I haven't really, thankfully I haven't really experienced harder injuries, but one of my training partners, one of my best friends, Bob Hathaway, Ron.
Oh yeah, of course.
He just had a really bad shoulder injury about a month ago. And he couldn't even lift it. This guy doesn't miss training, and for 2 weeks he was in a lot of pain, couldn't even lift his arm, and he started using it. And I swear to God, 2 weeks later, he was like, dude, I'm feeling great. He wasn't going extremely hard, but he was doing lateral raises, and obviously, he took care of it, and it's not solely just because of the BPC, but there's no way to help. That's for sure.
Okay. Last question about Derek, then we'll move on, is why does he get so much hate? I don't get it. He's a nice guy. He doesn't, I shouldn't say he doesn't talk shit about people. He'll occasionally say something. We've heard that, but I don't understand why he gets so much hate. Does anybody have any theories?
I think it was this one time where he said that Nick and the others should have been thankful that he competed against them, something like that, in Pittsburgh. So kind of like it's a privilege for them to stand next to me. I don't know the exact words, but I think that really pissed people off. It sounds arrogant. In reality, like, he's kind of right, because that made Nick like one of the favorites, you know?
Yeah.
So that hyped it up for Nick, and Nick was really like, if he wouldn't have shown up, I don't know if Nick would have, you know, but almost beating the Mr. Olympia, or like the Arnold champ, and at that point probably favored for the Olympia. After that one, not anymore. So, but I also feel like now I feel bad for Nick that people beat him up, because the guy is always in shape, and one time he's a little bit off, and his posing also a little bit off, and they bury him like he's done. It's like, come on, like, when was Nick never ever off before? I don't think ever. And then you know, one show, and everything's forgotten.
That's
Ron, on your show on American Muscle, I vividly remember Sean Ray saying, "I'm going to put the final nail in Lee Haney's Olympia coffin." Ooh, Sean Ray talked more shit than anyone in bodybuilding history to everybody, right? In the magazines, but we didn't take it as oh my God, I can't believe he's saying that. He's right. It's just part of sports. Shit talking is part of sport. If you've played team sports, you've heard shit talking. If you heard what WNBA women say to each other on that court, you would be appalled at the length of what those women say. So if Derek talking, he's confident, right? So what? He whooped all these dudes' asses. Right? If you want him to stop talking shit, beat the man, right? So I don't have a problem with it. People have a problem. I think he just comes off different on camera. Like, it doesn't seem authentic. Like, Nick seems a little bit real. Samson seems a little more real. They show a little more. Derek seems very, right, when the camera's on, it's like, growl. Is that really you, dude? Because I see you walking in Tampa just laughing and joking. You see his personality when you see him in person.
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate to the camera. But fans want to see you fail. They wanted to see Jay. Remember when Jay lost to Dexter? Oh, everything was great. Jay sucks. Jay comes back and everything's great. Jay's the greatest. It's Camelot, like when Kennedy was president. So it's just the fickle bodybuilding fans, bro. They want to see you fail.
Justin, last word on that. Give me your theory. Why does poor Derek Lunsford get so much hate?
So along those lines, you know, I think it's, you know, when you're the champ, people are going to look for anything, any little word you say, you know, to try to put something against you, or, you know what I mean? Or to root against you for some reason. You know, Derek's won, let's see, he won the 212 Olympia. He's won an Olympia. He won the Arnold. He won Pittsburgh. Now he's won another Olympia. I mean, look at how many people didn't care for Phil Heath because he was just winning so much. And I also find that when you're beating a quote unquote people's champ, like, look at how many times Phil Heath beat Kai Green. Everyone loved Kai Green. Everyone Kai Green win it, but Phil kept beating him. You know, that's like Hadi Chupan right now. Everyone loves Hadi. Derek keeps beating him. You know, so I think that in itself, just being the champ, you know, it just puts you out there to naturally have some quote unquote haters. And regardless of what he said, you know, in regards to they should be lucky to be competing against me, whatever, that's minor. People are going to jump on that, you know, and I guarantee you, if Hadi wins 3 Olympias in 3 years, people will be looking for something against Hadi. You know, it's why he couldn't be the champ.
If the Iranian fans turned against Hadi, I would fall off my chair. Be like, what?
Well, that's a story.
Be like the Brazilians turning against Ramondino. Ain't going to happen. All right,
don't poke that bear, Ron. Don't go there.
Mike, you want to stand up a little bit so people can see your shirt? Look at that.
There we go. Team Oily Biceps.
Well, we don't get too many like hottie shirts available in the U.S. So
No, there's zero.
I did have that one, and I also had the gray 212 one.
yes, I have those too. Yep.
You know, they might be on my roof, under the roof in Germany somewhere, or I don't know.
Under the roof. All right, let's talk about Nick Walker. So, sixth place was, I can't say a drop because he didn't compete in Olympia in the last 2 years, 23 and 24. He missed those, but last time on that stage he was third
Right?
in 2022, and I like that version of him better. We'll look at the difference in a minute, but his coach Kyle Wilkes, so I got the name right, I believe so. Kyle made a post, I think it was Monday, explaining why he felt they didn't bring the right look, and they blamed it on a peaking issue. And I thought he was peaked pretty well. I don't think he was off. First of all, do you guys think he was off in terms of condition?
This is the finals, right? Because on Friday, I think he didn't look that good.
Yeah, he looked better on Saturday, but I didn't see it as a peaking issue. Did you guys?
So
his stomach looked like so much wider, like even than usual on Friday. And then in some poses, and sometimes he was standing there and it seemed like he's not even there. Like he's like looking weirdly around, and usually he's always like bang on. So I don't know. And I was at the gym Saturday morning, and when I left at 9 to go to prejudging, he walked in with Kyle. So I think they did some cardio or something to get rid of some fluid, or maybe push some carbs in. I don't know, but why would you go to the gym other than getting rid of fluid on a Saturday before?
Yeah.
Dude, he's big, Ron. Like it's just, I don't think he was that off. He was very big. It's a lot of muscle on that frame. I'm 5'6". He's my height and like 260, 270.
He's over 270.
That's a lot. But what do you do with that? You can't go backwards, right? You can't diet that off. Like, what are you gonna do now? Because that's muscle, like it's there. So
but
I don't
look
know
at
what
the
he's gonna
comparisons. That was good comparisons right there. I think it looked way better. What was that? 23.
He looked. Yeah, when he won the Arnold, like I wasn't on the Nick bandwagon until I saw him win the Tampa show in the Arnold. Then I was like, this dude's good.
In some year.
Yeah,
he
he's getting great
position. Might have even been 21. He looked way fresher.
This was 22 when he took third behind. Hottie won that year and Derek was second. He's never had a small midsection. It's never been, dainty like some guys. But I liked it better here. I thought he looked
way better.
This is a better look for him back then.
I think he should just go off. No GH, maybe just a TRT, 4 months. And fix maybe some I don't know, oral BPC, KPV, and that's it. And train and eat like you need to, but maintenance or something. Yeah. But just get that stomach, because everyone who goes off after their career, they lose their guts. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Right.
So you just got to do it as if you would end your career, but trying to hold on to as much muscle as you can. And then you get back in, and it's probably very healthy anyways. He's going to gain everything that he might have lost a little bit back anyways. Like, he's not going to be too small, but the stomach has to go down. If the stomach goes down, he can't grow his lats more than he could lose his stomach.
Wow. Justin, what do you think?
All right, so a few things. First of all, Friday night, the one thing I noticed, his color was awful.
Yeah.
He was really light, and that itself, that's going to throw off your look. Even if someone's dialed completely, busting full, like if your color is off, it's not going to look the same. Now, we can go back and forth over what went wrong. Obviously none of us, we really don't know. If I had to give an educated guess, I would say he was almost a little flat, as in they probably pulled too hard to maybe keep his stomach light, so he had more control on stage, and it just didn't work in favor of the fullness. And, Leo, you said you saw them at the gym the next day. I mean, maybe they could have been doing a little cardio, or maybe they filled him out a little harder, and they were just trying to move food, like you were saying, into the muscle, because at the night show, he came back blazing with better color. He was substantially darker, and it was a different look. And I mean, the look wasn't going to save him, but it's just one of those things where if I had to guess, I think maybe they essentially maybe underfed a little too much to keep that gut in control, being a later show. And it just maybe backfired a little bit, which is all just a learning lesson, and on top of the color, I'm going to swear by the color thing. I really think the color threw the look off,
Yeah, definitely too. He looked a little like it was dirt and no glaze.
Yeah.
And the other, he used to look so great with this color at the New York Pro there where you see it and everything. And it looked like dirt. Like, who the hell did his color? Like, why did it look so different? Like, doesn't he use the same every time? I don't get that.
Yep, and I think that's making it difficult for all of us to determine, like, what actually was it? Was he flat? Was he watery? What happened? It's just that color can really throw things off.
Yeah. That's a minor detail that most people don't really understand, is that when you see somebody with bad color, good color accentuates everything. Like when you see somebody that's got a really good color on stage, like your eyes are kind of just naturally drawn to that physique. Like it accentuates everything. And when it's off, it's one of the first things you notice under those bright lights. And it's different because when you're seeing the stuff in the gym and on Instagram, it's not the same. Like I tell you all the time, that doesn't translate to that stage. The black and whites on the internet don't translate to those hot stage lights. So it accentuates every single thing on there. But dude, Nick, I think when Nick's the underdog like he is again, it just makes him better, right? I guarantee if he does Pittsburgh, he could win that show again, do New York again. That's an easy $100,000, right? Like Derek's not gonna do it. I can't foresee Samson coming over and do it. Probably not Andrew. He'll probably be the lead up guy. You know what I mean? If Martin does the Arnold. So that's kind of like, looking forward, that kind of sets up perfectly for him to present a brand new look in front of the boss in Pittsburgh, get that thumbs up, go right back into the Olympian, man. So he'll be fine. It's just
I think we will see everyone at the Arnold again. Yeah, of the prize money.
Yeah. $750,000. I would do it if I could, but nobody's going to be the asshole. So I guess it's up to me, man. I'm calling him out on the gut. To me, that's what cost him moving down to 6th, and I would have had him in 7th. I would have had Curry beating him. He needs to come in. I don't know what he was before, 255 at the most, 260 maybe. He needs to come down a little bit because some of that extra weight, some of that extra mass went to his midsection, and you can get away with being a freak sometimes. Those days of the bubble gut being ignored, they're over. And his waist is flat when he's really making an effort to keep it sucked in. But a lot of times, like, I'm actually surprised he wasn't upset at Gilko. Gilko does some amazing shots for posting these, because some of these are like in between poses or walking off stage when he wasn't really being careful about it. And you can see, let me get it a little smaller. You can see how big it is. I don't know, guys, how much, say he's 270 here. What do you think he needs to come down to get his waist back where it was a couple of years ago?
Ron, unfortunately, Ron, those days might be gone, bro. Like that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube once it's out.
Toothpaste.
You know what I'm saying? Right. If it's possible, listen, if you drop 10 pounds, well, how do you drop 10 pounds of just muscle? Right. That's just a lot to get rid of. And you can't. Ronnie couldn't go backwards. Once that 03 look, 04 got worse, 05, and then by 06 it was kind of a mess. 07 we lost our hero. Right. So I don't know. It's just, you got to figure something out, come up with a different look.
No, look at Ben Pekulski. Look at Ruli Winkler.
Yeah.
Sure, they did what I just said.
They went off.
Yeah. I don't know, man, but like Nick's got wider hips than Rolly did. Rolly had those big ass shoulders too, right?
Get like a Brian Buchanan waist, but Nick 2023 or 22 waist.
Yeah.
Good, best of luck to him to do that. If you can, God bless you.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. I don't want him to fail. I'd like to see him do the best he can with it. I mean, 3rd place 3 years ago, that was amazing. I don't know if it's within his capabilities to ever win the Olympia, but if he could be top 3 again, top 3 in the world is pretty damn great. And did he win the Arnold twice?
Once, I think.
He's got 3 New York pro titles, and he's already, for a young guy who's only been he turned pro in 2020, he's got a really good track record already. Yeah. So
that's it.
There's still time. What's he, like 30, 31, 32?
He's
That's
young.
a baby.
I'm going to play.
I mean, he's
devil's advocate.
great bodybuilder.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Like we could say that, you know, maybe he needs to come down 10 pounds to get the midsection control. I mean, now would that maybe have an effect that it had on Samson? You know, Nick is known for being a freak. You know, taking that off of him, would that give him that same look? I mean, or could it just be he needs to control his midsection better? You know, could that be, like we were just talking about in the last conversation, could it just be a peaking thing? You know what I mean? Do we know his stage weight from Pittsburgh to the Olympia?
Someone just said he was 264 at Pittsburgh, 262 at New York, but I don't know what he was. He was like 290 at 4 or 5 weeks out, remember?
Okay. So then if that's the case, maybe being a little heavier did play a role, but I don't know if it's that. Maybe it could be a control thing.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I just don't know if we take him down in weight, will he lose some of that free factor? I know he's a big boy, and that would be hard, but it's just, you know, I know, and Samson has a better silhouette, better structure, but, you know, could you run the risk of maybe losing a little bit of the freak factor and then the physique being off in general, not just the midsection? You know,
I would risk it, because if he won't do it, he will regret it.
Yeah. I mean, getting bigger, that's he needs to get out of his head. He does not need to be bigger. He's pound for pound, he's the biggest guy up there anyway.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree. I don't think he needs to be bigger. I agree with that.
If he wants to win the Olympia, what does he have to do? So there's just one way. He can't get much bigger and win the Olympia for that. And his stomach keeps getting wider. So stomach in and try to get the muscle back that you might lose. It's like people went off all the time, or like before, and they weren't like shriveled down and never came back. It was like all the time. Lee Priest, all the time.
But that was a different era. That we were taught in that era to go on for 12 weeks, come off for 12 weeks. Now, and we didn't have a ton of growth. Insulin was brand new, so we weren't pounding tons of insulin either. And we didn't eat like that either. It's just a different era, right? And again, listen, I don't think there's not a version, and I love Nick's physique, I love the freak, but Andrew is 1 year away from just locking it down for the rest of these guys. So I don't think any version of Nick is going to beat Andrew Jack in the near future, right?
He should hang it up.
Top 5, top 6, right? Then. But I don't think, man, listen, that's the storm that's about to whoop some dudes' asses in a little bit.
That's a great. I think Andrew is a serious problem. You know, he was unbelievable this past weekend. His legs came up. I mean, they still need to come up. His side shots just are not strong. His side chests, you know, his side tricep, they're not strong. But once those shots come up, once the legs come up even more, that's a serious problem.
Dude, that's like a transformer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just some stuff we haven't seen even. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And then when we finally hit it, it lived up to the promise. And then when you go back and rewatch it, man, it wasn't the best Samson, granted, but he made Samson look small for Samson, right? Like, that's just a beautiful front double bicep, bro.
That's about right there. Wow.
Once he poses a little bit, but tweaks that posing just a little bit, right? Dude, that's just gonna be sick.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people wanting Andrew to win. They thought he was the rightful winner of the show, and you know they don't look at it the way we do. The side shots are a liability right now. With that side leg of his, when he's got like some Tom Prince hamstrings, or just better than they are now, and fixes his posing. His posing still to me it just looks a little awkward compared to someone like Samson. Yeah, he's a future. I believe he. I said that about Sean Ray. I said about Kevin Levrone. I said about Flex Wood. They're definitely going to be Mr. Olympia. Here we are, 30 years later. They weren't, but I think Andrew's day is going to come. I hope it for him. I hope it's within the next year or two.
Yeah, he can win. He can win. A little better posing, tiny bit of legs, and it's in. Like already here, like imagine he would have posed everything perfectly, or like held it longer. Look, this is my favorite shot almost of him.
Question for you guys.
Bam! Isn't that beautiful?
Yep.
Do you guys
don't move? Why do you move? Stay there.
Go ahead, Justin.
He's doing the Romania. Do you think he needs to shut it down after that to be an Olympia contender next year to make those improvements?
You know what? The Arnold is effing that up for everybody. I say that because it's so hard to turn down that kind of money.
Yep.
If you think you have a legitimate chance to win $750,000 as a bodybuilder, good God. I mean, in my lifetime, they were making, when I was a kid, they were making like 40 grand, 50 grand for winning Mr. Olympia.
Remember 100 grand? Jay got 100 grand in a Hummer, or running at 100 grand in a Hummer.
And we're all in lines. We're like, oh my God, that's crazy money,
Yeah.
for bodybuilding. No, I agree.
I think
down.
Andrew is so good, and he's with Aceto, so he's taking not much, that he could grow into the show. He just has to train well and practice posing, and I think he will grow anyways.
And too, that the more stage time, maybe, you know what I mean, it'll help him, get the posing better. And look, a lot of times when guys compete more, sometimes they do. Some guys get better, but I think he's an attraction now, and people want to see this guy, right? Yeah. So it wouldn't. If I was a promoter, if I was Romania, I'd pay this dude to come to my show, right? Because people want to see him. And listen, he's going, that trajectory is just starting to go like this now. Right, Samson was the freak on the bracket and the underdog, but Andrew's kind of like that hot name. He's the fancy new toy that we got at Christmas, right? Like he's what everybody's loving. And listen, when you see the pictures on the internet, he looks like the winner, but there's more to the front, a most muscular, that to winning a show. So I get people's enthusiasm and excitement, right? And if he would have won, dude, I would have been like, okay, cool, but. Like I said, I think he's one off season away from like just breaking some hearts.
I mean, he could also, if he wants to win a lot of money, do New York, Pittsburgh, and Dubai. They're pretty close.
Dubai too, man. I forgot.
And
about
he has
Dubai.
a little more time. I don't know how far Dubai is from New York. I think last year it was like 4 weeks, so that might be a little long, but. That would be also some good paydays. Like, what is Pittsburgh? 100 or 150. Dubai is 100. And New York is like 30. Maybe they get more next year.
God damn. Who the fuck you see that kind of money giving away at a bodybuilding contest, man? Remember, it's like Jerome Charles was king of the $10,000 show.
But you also have to win.
Yeah, so, that is true. Yeah.
No,
like three people in the world make money from that.
I've heard this, and tell me if this is something you guys have heard, that he doesn't do the Dubai show, Andrew, because it's promoted by Oxygen Gym Dubai, Badr Budai, who owns all the ones in Kuwait, and he's been loyal to Binu's gym. Those are like the big rival gyms in Dubai for bodybuilding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard. Andrew has never come out and said that, but I've heard that from several different sources, that he'll never do the Dubai show as long as the other gym promoter, the gym owner, is the one promoting it.
I mean, that's cool and all, but like that payday is good too. You know what I mean? You got to eat, bro. You make this. Listen, this is you're one injury away from this being over with, right? Like, so make as much money as you can while you can. Get in, get out, do what you got to do, right? He's almost 40 years old.
He's been almost 40 for a very long time.
Okay. So he's probably like 42. You know what I mean? So, but you gotta think of it as a business. This is it's great. You want to submit your legacy with the Sandow, but this is also a business, right? And you got to think long term, because it's got to be life after bodybuilding.
You could look at it the other way too. You know what I mean? If that's a rival there, if he's loyal to Binos, why not go win the Oxygen show?
Exactly. And run around with a Binos shirt everywhere and like. You know.
All right, let's move on to the next guy who lost. We had some people losing their Olympia titles this weekend, and none was more jarring to see than.
I don't like to do much talking about what happened or whatever, but I just gotta say this, simple and simple. We pushed conditioning more than we've ever pushed before. We went all the way deep into it, and we just underestimated how long it would take us to fill out, and that was basically it. You know, we've never pushed conditioning that deep before. And just trying to feel back out, my physique back out, being such a big guy. I mean, I'm well over 300 pounds, and it just took a long time to feel that physique back out. And it's you can imagine how disappointed I fucking feel after that. And that was basically it. And it's just the simple point of it. And yeah, it sucked. It sucked.
All right, so that's his belief as to why he dropped from first to fourth, why he looked the way he did. I'm going to be the asshole again. I'm good at it, so I'll just keep being the asshole. I don't think it was an issue of not filling out enough, because you can fill out a flat muscle that's got the glycogen sucked out of it. It's depleted. But if you've lost muscle tissue, you can't fill out something that's not there. And I believe he lost a significant amount of muscle tissue. I don't want to throw his coach/wife under the bus, but I did hear that more than one person reached out to them and said, we think he's looking a little too small. And she was quick to say something like, we know what we're doing, don't worry about it. And I'm sure they thought, Samson and Marlena thought everything was going to work out. The last few days, last week, whatever, we'll just pound the carbs and everything's going to work out perfectly, because that's what we thought. That's what I thought was going to happen. I had faith in their strategy, because when we saw him guest pose in Romania 6 weeks out, like, wow, he's never looked like this before, but he's looking smaller. But we're just like, maybe he's just super depleting right now. He's going crazy on the cardio, no carbs. And their strategy is to get ready early and then eat up into the show, grow into the show like the guys used to do. Didn't happen. I don't want to say he looked horrible, but to drop from first place to fourth place as a reigning Mr. Olympia champion. Rami went from first to fifth, so it's not the worst we've ever seen. I think Samir back in the day went from like first to 12th or something. But it was a shock. I mean, when you guys first saw Andrew, your first glimpse, what was we'll start with Leo, so everyone's not talking at the same time. What did you think when you saw Andrew this come out for the show? That's not Andrew. I'm talking about Samson. Sorry, Samson.
I think so. Samson improved his taper, though. So I felt his silhouette got better.
I agree.
The problem is his front double looks way nicer by himself, and also perfect for me now. And also his front lat spread, they look way better. Because when he was so full and not as defined, his midsection was a little washed out and it didn't look as well by himself. But when I compare both of the years, this is not glycogen. Like, that's too much size difference than it just being glycogen. I have the theory, and maybe I'm totally wrong, that his Marek health guy was a little too health concerned, and they underdrugged him.
Wow.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, no, I believe that. Typically, a lot of these rumors turn out to be true. Very, very rarely do they turn out to be false. So I believe that. Justin, what were your thoughts when you saw Samson's 2025 Olympia version?
So I hate to be one of those guys that tries to act like I predicted anything, because I didn't. You know, people were asking me for my top four, and I'm like, I don't know, guys. We don't know who's going to be on, who's not. But it goes back to his guest posing. Was it France?
Yeah.
6 weeks ago. He was sharp. And everybody was kind of freaking out, like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did say to myself, I'm like, I wonder if this is a little too soon to be in that kind of condition. And when he came out there, I agree with what you guys are saying, to where, like, there was tissue loss. There was tissue loss. And last year, the one thing I noticed when he won is he brought up his back, because that's been his downfall. You put him next to guys like Derek and Hadi, he's just never had a back. Okay, and now on Friday and Saturday, the back shots just weren't there. The back double bicep wasn't there. The back lat spread wasn't there. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I mean, you could have, not to be far-fetched, but you could have put him next to Martin, and Martin would have exposed the lack of depth in the back. So I agree with you guys spot on. He lost muscle. And I just keep thinking back to that France guest posing, to where I'm like, I wonder if that's a little too soon for him, to be that sharp. And I wonder how this is going to translate in another 6 weeks. I believe it was 6 weeks out. And he just didn't have it.
You went around. Here's the thing. He won the Olympia, right? Then he took second to Derek by like a couple points, right? He lost this show. Like, he's not that far off. Like, it's not like he's not missing a body part. It's not torn. It's just a look, right?
Yeah.
His best look is being big. That's what he is. He's a big dude. This little downsized Samson wasn't him. He needs to be round, full, and big. He's a shapely monster, right? And he needs that volume to go against Derek and Hottie. Like, this is Samson, this is Derek and Hottie. He's got to expose that size. It's still a muscle show, right? So here's the best thing about this, though, is the last version we have of Samson is that downsized look. So next time we see him, he's going to be obviously fuller and bigger. So we're going to have a different look at him, and it may just overwhelm people and kind of shock people. Be like, "Oh shit, this is the real Samson." But it just doesn't. They missed it. It happens. You go for different look. The judges said we want to see you lean. They tried to get lean. It didn't work. Now you know. Like, now you know that's not for you. I think now it's easy. You just like you gradually fill out and just see where your body goes. You want to do a show, do a show. As a meathead, I'd love to see them shut it down and come back at like 305 at the Olympia, just stupid big and crazy big, and just freak everybody the hell out and just like shock the world, man. Like, he hasn't had a break. You know, his body, he hasn't had a break in years, and I guarantee he would look so crazy with a full off season to where like you can eat up and just maintain that like 320 for a while and then whittle it down. But like, it's not my body. But that's what I would do if I get reincarnated.
Ron, do you think Milo's gonna get a phone call from Samson?
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't think there was bad blood. They never like slammed each other. Really, it's possible, but yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. Is would somebody else be the better coach than the wife? I mean, Dennis James already said on his Menace
Patrick
podcast,
Tour.
Patrick Tour would be great. Maybe Boss. Chris Aceto obviously had a bunch of winners in the show. Chris is a great coach. I just wonder if Marlena. First, we said, we were thinking it's great, it's perfect coach because she's there all the time. She knows what he's eating, how he's training. No coach can be there like she could possibly be. But Dennis said, when you're that close to somebody, maybe you can't really see what's going on because you're seeing him so much, you don't see what's going on right in front of you. That he's losing size, that he's looking a little lankier, a little flatter. And I don't know if he would even ever leave his. He's not going to leave his wife as a wife, but would he ever leave his wife as a coach? That would be I don't think I'd want to be in the room for that. I wouldn't be in the room, but that'd be a tough conversation to have. Like, babe, I don't know how to say this, but this coaching thing is not working out. I think we need to see other people. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's good for their relationship too. I mean, maybe they fight over stuff. Who knows? I think, I said Patrick Tour and not any of the other guys, because if you look at anyone, Patrick Tour makes people bigger. Whoever he takes on, if it's the worst amateur on the planet, they gain size with him. He knows how to put muscle on people. The other coaches get people in shape. I don't know if they're as good as Patrick, like developing and improving a bodybuilder. So I'm totally on Patrick Tour. I would advise Samson, if anything, go to Tour. Go to Tour. No one else.
I just want to know. Look at the difference in the back from last year to this year.
That's
really where I saw the back take the biggest hit of all the legs.
The legs look bigger on the right here from the back, which they aren't. But
the legs weren't that. The legs didn't lose that much, but the back seemed to lose a lot of thickness and fullness. But yeah, I mean, that's what they say. It always comes down when you over diet, when you lose muscle, it's usually going to come from your worst body part, not your best body part.
Yeah.
You know what they're on, like in sports, right? When something goes wrong, the first thing they do is fire the coach, right? Everybody's got that Monday morning reaction, like, oh shit, things are wrong. Like, let's just change something up. Yeah. He won a Sandow with her coaching him. And it's not like something went tragically wrong. Like, what went wrong. Like 365 days ago, you got it right? You just went for a different look. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. Like we talk about Regan changing coaches all the time, right? And she knows dude. Like she sees dude every day. And honestly, look, these guys are so genetically gifted, right? It's not really like weeks 12 through 2. It's like those final, like, let me guide that plane in and make sure everything's going good. Let me keep your head on straight. Now, maybe it does help to have another outside pair of eyes, right? To just say, hey, maybe that's not too good. You can't insulate yourself so much to where it's just you look like this, right? Even if you're doing the diet, you gotta say, hey man, let me take a look at me. Hey man, what do you think? You gotta be honest, because I don't know how many people are honest with these guys nowadays. You gotta just say, hey man, listen, it's not going well. But just to change right away just because something goes bad, I don't know. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction sometimes.
So now they're going to say, his win last year with Marlene, that was just a fluke. They just got lucky with that. But I don't know, would that look from last year have won this year?
That's a great
Probably.
question.
I would say yes.
That's
big.
We'll never know, right?
That's like if Randall Biecki ever nailed it. That's what it would look like.
Big Yankee.
I mean, we complained. Oh, he's not. We'd love to see him sharper. At least I did. I know I bitched and moaned about it, but now I'm thinking if he has to, I don't think he was that much sharper anyway. The downsized version,
not much.
So it wasn't worth it. I mean, if he's not capable of being shredded to the bone anyway, might as well just be big and round and full like he was here.
Be you, man. You be you. You know what I'm saying?
Play your own game.
Any new crazy detail on Friday and Saturday, like any, especially through the glutes, the hamstrings. I don't think there was any more, different deep detail.
No, it wasn't dug out, like super dug out.
But his abs were way better, like in the vacuum shots. But yeah, not crazy. That's why, but it doesn't mean that he just because he didn't nail it, it isn't shouldn't mean that he shouldn't still try to get in better conditioning than last year. So I think he should still aim for the same package as last year and then a bit better. Like, why not? I don't think he's incapable of that. Just because he doesn't manage to do it doesn't mean it's impossible.
But his front relax, even look at this smaller body weight though, his front relax just looked absolutely cartoonish. Yeah. Like when he first walked out by himself, that was just like that should be on a poster. Like how good that looked when he walked out there. But you can kind of see, like once he started going through the motions, man, especially the girth of the quadricep just wasn't there. Because he's got some like banging quads, some big ass legs. But it just wasn't there. But that crucifix pose, man, with that tiny waist, it's still just pretty as shit. You can't fault the man for that. But it's just, we all want to see him do good, but maybe, some guys just never get that total Christmas. And he didn't have to be like dug out to win an Olympia last year. Right. So, and listen, Derek wasn't dug out. He was a lot bigger, but except it just didn't work. Right. It didn't work. So just come back a freak, man. And even those pictures he posted recently, that fuller look, he has glasses full in those pictures, man. It does look kind of crazy. Like just what some like carbs does that sunk down body,
Now, let me take a look. Does he got new updates?
I just saw it on what's his name? Nick had pictures up of it.
Okay, so it must be on. I just want to see if he's got it on his he's posted anything on his Instagram. No. So yeah, I mean he's got some things because he lost $560,000 basically because winning would have been $600, and at fourth it drops all the way down to $40,000.
That stings.
It's a big drop right there.
That stings for me, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll find out because did he say he's doing the Arnold yet?
I haven't heard anything about that at all. But do you think he should though? Like, cause you're going on the merry-go-round, like your body, like I said, your body's gonna eventually give out. Like he's been prepping since nonstop since like 2023, right? Roughly.
Where are we? Well, I don't know what happened to our video. I don't know why we're not being seen
Oh,
right
shit.
now. Huh. Thanks for that, Dan. Let me try to figure out what the hell's wrong. I don't
What?
know.
But you wait, before his Olympia victory, didn't he win a show right after the Olympia and then had a full year off? Am I wrong?
Was it a full year?
I think he had a full year off almost before his Olympia victory.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't think he's tired or anything, but
There we go.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to make this long distance diagnoses about him if he needs to take a rest or not. I think he can decide that better than us. I don't know what he needs. It might be, but I think it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out what he's going to do soon because we're not going to know for sure who's doing the Arnold until like second week of December, the full roster. But several people have already committed to it, so I just wonder.
But it's good though having all these shows after the Olympia, like kind of the old Grand Prix time. So you get a lot of like name guys doing post Olympia shows, right? Just to get that qualification in. So it makes it for a talking point all the way until what, November, at least November. We got something to talk about like every couple of weeks. So like the that lull time between like the last show and the Arnold stuff. So it's exciting. I'm glad it's got this much going on after the Olympia.
True. All right, let's move on to the next guy who lost his Olympia title, Mike Sommerfeld. He was supposed to win because he was second to Chris Bumstead last year. And with Chris gone, the title was up for grabs. Then we had this massive controversy that only really erupted, I think, a couple of weeks out from the Olympia about the height and weight. That people found clips of him speaking to Dennis James years ago that he was already being officially measured as taller, a few centimeters taller than he was. And supposedly he was competing. He told Jay Cutler in the Cutler cast a couple weeks ago that he was expecting to compete at 212. That's my weight, 212, which if you look at the height and weight requirements for Classic, that would mean he has to be over 5'9". No, I have to be over 5'9", because up to and including 5'9" was 204. And then anything between 5'9" and including 5'10" exactly was 212. So, the speculation was he's got all this gel in his hair and his hair is like a big helmet. And that's what they're not pushing down and getting his true height. This time they did get him at under 5'9", but him and his coach, Neil Hill, they prepared for it and they dropped down. Leo would know exactly. Was it 12 pounds in the last week or 2 weeks?
They dropped down to 202.4. That's what they weighed in. They lost about 14 pounds. So he was like 216 or so.
Wow.
And instead of coming down 4 pounds, he came down 14 pounds.
Holy shit.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, wrong one. Do you feel that cost him? Is that what cost him the title? Was the fact that he lost all that weight so quickly?
Well, I mean, the thing is, if they measured him wrong, he should have never. The actual issue is he had an advantage, 2 shows, of which one he won, unless he's over 5'9", which he isn't. So instead of actually, I mean, the timing is shit, and they should have said it before because he went in with the expectation to be allowed 212 because they said that's your height forever, you got it, right? So in that regards, it's really shitty to do it that late. But if you see it from another perspective, he was granted to be overweight 2 times and really, capitalized on that. So you could also be grateful for having that opportunity because that's not going to come back. So you could see it either way.
So are they done with the height stuff then? They're not, this is official. We're not hiding or waiting these guys anymore forever.
No, so I am of where how it was for me and how it was after the Olympia last year was the first 3 shows you do, the average of the 3 measurements, that's your height forever. So you get measured 3 times. So I'm thinking they will get also measured 2 more times, and then they look at their average, and that's it for them as well. Because they had the weird incidents that they just had 1 measurement this last Olympia, and they were told that's your height forever. And afterwards, they decided, oh, let's, for everyone else, do 3 measurements and take the average. So I should have my weight now. I'm going to ask, I'm 3.5 weeks out. I'm going to ask the promoter actually now if I have to remeasure again, or if the height's now the height.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah.
Does it change? I mean, I'm just naive to this. Like, why 3? Is your height changing?
Yeah,
at
sure.
this
Like,
age?
let's say I got measured in Pittsburgh 5:30 p.m. I was 5'10", and they didn't give me a micrometer.
What?
They didn't say over. I was 5'10". I'm like 5'10" on the dot. He's like 5'10" on the dot. I'm like, nothing more. Can we remeasure? Not 5'10" on the dot. I was so lucky. I put all my clothes off, totally naked. I was 212 on the dot, and got it. Because I was thinking I'm going to be 219. I'm allowed 219 because before I was 5'10" and a quarter, and then afterwards, afterwards, and I was 5'10" and a quarter again. So my average is now over 5'10", and I'm allowed 219. But you can be. They were measured in the morning. If they measure them at night, good luck. They're going to be even shorter. I mean, they would all have to go on a inversion table.
I'm so glad we just had like one name, like light heavyweight. Well, you know, I never got over heavyweight, but just 190 weighing. That's just crazy to me, man. That just blows my mind.
Justin, what do you think? Because you're a promoter, you have Classic Physique in your show, and guys have to measure in. I'm sure there's some people who are like right on the line as far as being in the next heaviest weight class. Have you ever had guys miss their weight and have to jump into like the bodybuilding or something?
Yeah, so we've seen that. I mean, keep in mind, this is, you know, the local level, you know, to where we're not, you know, taking an average of, you know, 3 heights or anything like that. You know, for this level, I think the way that they approached it after everything was said and done, I think that was, you know, the right thing to do. You know, and did it hurt Mike? Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the same look that we usually see, you know, clearly, you know, it wasn't the same look, you know, that he had at the Arnold. But that's kind of just, you know, that's kind of how it is. We got, the IFBB has got to try to make it as fair as possible, you know, and really nail these heights. And depending on the timings of the days, like, I mean, we could debate that back and forth of when to do it. It's just, you know, everyone at the same time. And that's that. You know, I do think, you know, if they you know, continue to take the measurements like for an average, I think that'd be great. But, you know, in this case, you know, you could go both ways on it, but I definitely think that it, you know, it hurt Mike in regards to having to get that light. And I think that's, you know, not anyone's fault. It's just how it was handled, you know, and it's just going to be what happens going forward now, what he decides to do.
Yeah, and as far as this whole thing about he cheated all these years or Bumstead cheated, I don't think we could put it on them because they weren't the ones giving out the, it was the people measuring them who maybe didn't push down hard enough. Clearly this year, they knew all eyes were on them. We didn't see it. They did a live YouTube on Olympia TV as they were doing it, but it was behind a screen. But we did get photos the next day from the top guys all showing their height. You could zoom in on it, and their weight. You could zoom in on that on the scale. So there was no funny business this year. But again, do you guys think we could say Mike cheated all the last few shows just because?
I don't think anyone was trying to. I don't think the IFBB was wrong. I don't think, you know, Mike was wrong. I think it was just, you know, trying to figure out the fair process. You know, I don't think the case of anybody was trying to give anybody an edge, or, you know, Mike was just, you know, doing what he was told, doing what he was heighted at, following, guideline of the weight that he needed. I don't think the IFBB did anything wrong. I think it's just the approach that was taken this year, which had to be done. And that was decided it was the right thing to do. And I just think that it just so happened that it backfired on Mike.
Well,
any sport,
if Mike is if Mike is measured the wrong height, obviously someone did something wrong. Like that, I mean, we don't like, of course, but like all the competitors try to be as tall as they can. So if Mike didn't do something like crazy, like put a wig on that had like super thickness to his hair or whatever, which he didn't, then he just, got the advantage and took it, and everyone would have probably, and not said, "Oh, you know what, guys, I'm actually shorter." So I would say, if anything, it's on the IFBB, unless there's something that would, make Mike look like a cheater, which I didn't see. I don't know,
And
he makes himself as tall as he can, but you can't be like, "Oh, you are not allowed to do that. Make yourself short."
Right. You go for any advantage. Any advantage you get in any sport that you get, you take, right? He didn't say, "Oh, hey, I don't think my height's correct. Can you remeasure me?" You get the advantage, man. And listen, it's up to the IFBB to figure it out and get it straight. Like, don't blame this man. But he gets, I don't know, man. Is he getting a lot of hate for this though? And it's funny that the timing of it was just very strange. Like, right close to Olympia. It's just very suspect how all that came out right before. And can you imagine the stress you got to feel, like knowing that your weight's gonna be all jacked up, going to the biggest show of your life after you busted your ass and make a certain weight? And I got to come down to 14 more pounds.
Well, Leo, you have some insight to this. I've heard that he's not very well liked by the German fans compared to Urs. Urs is like a superstar over there. Why is it that the German fans don't feel that Mike is representing Germany as well as Urs might be?
It's because Mike, in the past, has pulled some stories that just sounded not credible and made up. Like he said, for example, as a child, he slept on protein boxes.
What?
Yeah, a mattress on protein boxes. Like, like stories that sound like, "Oh, I came from the gutter and now I'm here." And I think that it didn't seem authentic. I think that's what they dislike. Then there's like almost every video sounds like Kai Green speeches, like, "Oh, epic, epic."
Oh, geez.
Just talk normal, Yeah. Don't make a big story. I think that's kind of like, chill. I think that's what they don't like. I think that's nothing. It's ridiculous to hate someone for that.
Yeah.
And I think that in the last year up to this prep, he held himself and carried himself like never before. So much better, so great, like a champ, way more humble. He wasn't over talking any Kai Green stories. I call it Kai Green stories because he's known for, but with Kai Green, it feels also more authentic. He really comes from nothing, and but so I think that's a part. Then he there was one year where he mentioned, which like I found out is true, and I found out his dad has nothing against it. But to most of the Germans, it seemed like, dude, you shouldn't talk about this. He said his dad wanted to kill himself, and just because of Mike's bodybuilding success, he didn't.
What?
Because he was so proud, and it made him, prevail. And he put out the story, like how he saved his dad with bodybuilding. And it also seemed like, dude, this, like, you shouldn't expose your dad like this. But his dad is like his biggest supporter, and apparently he's very open about that and had zero issues with that. But to the public, it seemed like, bro, don't, you put yourself up on a pedestal, but kind of bring your dad down at the same time. That made him look not that great to people. When you know that his dad is fine with it, and it's true and everything, it's like, okay, but I'm just saying like why this is. And Urs is just like most of the time feel good, authentic. He's not scripted. He doesn't come up with some speeches that sound like from the Machiavelli motivation. And yeah, I think they just want authenticity.
Okay.
And they feel they don't have it with Mike.
Okay. So there was something in the comments about, did he actually say this, or people talk shit, that he says he has a demon called Iblis inside of him?
Yeah, that's also something, Then he
What?
compares himself. That was also on my podcast. It sounds like he compares himself to Michael Jordan. And it's like, bro, that's not your caliber.
No.
Like, and the guy is so good and he's so great. He doesn't have to do that. His physique is insane. It's like in person when I trained with him and he posed, and I was like, Jesus Lord, this is perfection. Like, but then he goes over the top and he's like giving his dark side a name called Iblis, and people are like, oh my God, bro.
Wow.
Like, just call it your dark side, or call it a bad inner voice, or bad mood or whatever, but don't make it a big story. And that's just like, he makes it a story and then compares it to Michael Jordan, and it's like, oh, again. So I think that this is the stuff where it's like, just say that you're depressed sometimes, or you have an inner voice that's kind of, kicking your ass or putting you down or something like that. Just make it seem more, authentic, more relatable. And yeah, so I think this is kind of the thing, the reason why. For me personally, Mike has always been super nice to me, and this super cool guy. But and I totally don't hate him at all. I like him, and I don't hate him for that. But I just can't see why people that don't know him as well would. You know what I mean? So.
No, I mean, I get that. And I mean, thank you, because that makes sense. If they feel he's not being genuine, or maybe he's a little, like I had a great interview with him about 6 months ago. I thought he was fine. I didn't get that vibe at all, but
yeah,
I don't watch all of his content either and all his interviews, so I'm sure I missed that at some point. Yeah, I got excited about that hearing Kelly, and when I heard about, because I got Exorcist shit up on my wall. I got an Exorcist tattoo. I'm all in that.
Yeah, I could just tell everyone who's listening. Like,
that's some wild shit, Ron. Like, as long as your inner voice isn't named Titus, I guess you're pretty good, right? You're okay. Iblis all you want, as long as you're not Craig. You're okay.
Mike is a very nice guy in person, and very well spoken, and I don't know, like, people give him a chance. Don't hate him if he goes over the top. Be like, okay, he's going over the top,
Yeah, fans
whatever.
Fans are fickle, man. Like, fans will love you 1 minute and then they hate you the next. You know what I mean? Like, the bigger you get, the harder they want to see you fall, right? Like, he's gonna have his diehard fans. Like, listen, every meathead's a little weird. Like, no meathead is normal. Like, we're all got something going on. Like, he's got a little thing. That's a gimmick. Who cares? It's just people like to nitpick, man. So, it is what it is.
All right, let's get to our final story, because boy, oh boy. So Natalia got her title back. Sarah Villegas was the 4-time champion. Does anyone know were all those 4 in a row?
I don't think so. I think Natalia got one in between there.
Did Shanique beat her when she was already the winner? Because I can't find
Shanique. I think Shanique beat her, and then Sarah came back and beat Shanique and retired her.
Okay. In any case, Natalia, who had won once before, now she turned the tables on her, and I didn't have a problem with that. I'm not, even though I don't know Sarah anywhere near as well, I've interviewed Natalia a few times. I'm a little more of a fan of Natalia than that, but it didn't influence. When I see people on stage, I don't care. I'll just tell you who I think looks the best. And I thought Natalia had her beat fair and square. It wasn't. There's no conspiracy theories as far as I could see. It wasn't. But then Sarah comes out on Instagram. Yeah, I got to show this. Sorry, Sarah, but you posted it. So this came out a couple days ago. She posted all her medals. It said 7 Olympia medals, all-time winning was 4 gold. I run to the fire, not from it. Bring it on. What's next for me? If you know me, you already know the answer. I'm definitely not going up by a lightweight oil champion, capitalized OIL. I'll leave you with this. The way you do one thing in life is the way you do everything, rewarded or not. Shortcuts will always catch up. So very clear. She's accusing Natalia of having site enhancement oil. And I think somewhere else she specified it was the delts.
You know what I was thinking right away?
Wow.
I was thinking right away, whatever you do in life is like how you do everything. And I'm like, so you talk shit about everyone like this? Interesting. Okay. Okay.
I mean,
I would watch out if I would be in her corner now. She said it herself.
I mean, like I said, before we started recording, I said these people should have their phones taken away from them for at least 4 or 5 days after a show, because emotions are running so high. And I think it had been so long since Sarah had been beaten by anyone. It's been years that it was just a massive shock and a blow. And she was just overcome with all kinds of emotions, probably rage, grief, frustration. And
listen,
yeah,
you got to learn how. If you play team sports, right, you learn how to win and you learn how to lose, right? So sometimes when you lose, you got to lose the same way you win. You can't lose and then like throw. Listen, you can't lose and talk shit. She lost. Losers can't talk shit. No matter, you got to keep that quiet for a year. Okay, like I could talk shit because Ohio State won national championship. I talk shit all year. I'm still talking shit, but it's very like the oil stuff's very classless, right? You gotta be better than that. But from a drama perspective, I love this shit, man. This is TMZ. Like these women going at it. It seems like there's real beef too between them. So like that kind of beef, but I think it's petty. It's very catty. It's very petty.
I'm looking right here. Look at her delts. Tell me does anyone see anything weird? If you see it, tell me. Call her out.
No.
Yeah, I don't see it. That's the first point. If you don't even see it. The second point is, well, maybe you took more gear. Since when do we have rules? I'm totally against oil. I think it's not cool. But if you can't even see it, I don't know. I would rather think it's rather in her legs, to be honest, if anywhere.
And this is wrong. Got to remember what the ideals of women's physique was originally. I think Shanique had the ideal women's physique look, and when Sarah came along, it was just a bigger kind of mini women's bodybuilder. I think Natalia embodies what this original division was supposed to be. Where I think sometimes we get off the trail when some of these divisions and they kind of start to be blurred, right? And Sarah's big, her glutes are shredded, right? I mean, like women's bodybuilding glutes are shredded, like they're feathered. Yeah. Like that wasn't what women's physique was supposed to be when it was started, right? Dana Lynn Bailey would be like out of the top 15 at this show, right? Juliana would have no chance at these shows anymore. Right. So you got to kind of put the brakes on some shit. You got to kind of slow it down. I think Natalia has that ideal look.
Justin,
I think Natalia looks perfect. The symmetry and everything, and she shouldn't get any bigger. I think she has the perfect look. I wouldn't know what to improve on her really much. So I think she shouldn't gain any muscle. I think, and you know what? I was just thinking, I would rather have my woman use oil than more steroids. So,
right, so I want to turn to Justin. Justin, why do you think it for the first time? Because Natalia's been getting her butt kicked by Sarah for a couple of years now. What do you think made the difference this year and put Natalia over the top?
So I think, honestly, Natalia just beat her on every angle. Shape, everything, muscularity. I mean, you could argue maybe the side tricep shot, but I thought Natalia was fantastic. And scorecards, perfect score. I mean, I didn't think it was close. Now this whole Sarah thing, she's a great competitor. As we know, she wouldn't have that many titles if she wasn't. What you said, Ron, to, let's take the phones away at least 4 days after the Olympia. I think this got the best of Sarah, and I think that you got to wonder if she saw Natalia's look Natalia's what, 29 years old? Natalia's only going to get better. Okay. And I mean, maybe she doesn't need to add more size. I think Natalia can maybe add a little bit more density to her back, being nitpicky here. Okay. But you got to wonder if it was going through Sarah's mind, you know, Natalia's 29. She brought this look. She's only getting better. Maybe some emotion of, could Natalia be the new champ for a very long time now? Maybe that got the best of her in her post, to where she tried to attack the physique and maybe pointing out things that she thought was wrong with it that really aren't there, because I didn't see no oil. I saw a fantastic physique in Natalia, you know, and that's that. And I saw a clean win. So maybe it's the case of, and I'm not defending Sarah by any means. I thought the post was just an absolute insult to the judges, to the IFBB, insulting, you know, what the judges are looking at. I thought it was an insult in every way, not just to Natalia. But it's just, I think that was a heavy emotional post, and maybe it's in the back of her mind, like, damn, I think Natalia is going to be it for a very long time. Yeah.
I mean, someone in the chat was saying they're on Sarah's side. They think it's very obvious she's got oil in there, and I'm going to disagree. If I saw it, and just because I happen to be more biased towards her, I would still call her out on it. When I see what I think looks like oil, I'll say it. Like, I think Hottie had it. I suspect Derek's biceps look the way they do because there's been some oil. I call people out. Sometimes they never talk to me again, but I gotta be honest. I don't see it.
I can't believe she put oil. Like, she literally put OIL Olympia. That's just some. You gotta, before you press send, you gotta think for a minute, man, because you know what I'm saying. Like, Ron, you gotta take a minute to just decompress and think. Like, losing sucks, but nobody wins forever. Nobody is undefeated, right? Everybody loses, so it's kind of a bad. Like Justin said, it's you're talking to the judges too when you say that. Like, absolutely. They notice that shit too.
Absolutely, like, she's pretty much saying that the judges rewarded that look, and that's just not the case. The judges, they know what they're looking at. They know what site enhancement looks like. They know what scar tissue looks like. They know what injection marks look like. It's just, it was not only Natalia she was insulting. You know, what's funny is, I remember I saw the post, and I looked to when she posted it. It said 6 minutes ago. So I'm like, I read it, and I'm like, am I reading this right? Like, what she's saying?
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, 10 minutes later, that's when the internet started blowing up.
I think she also put her account on private because it was gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And guys, check him out. His channel is called Overcome Cast. He's got some crazy good interviews from the last couple of weeks because he's in Vegas, and all of Olympia people are in Vegas. So check out the Overcome Cast. Come on,
yeah.
Ron,
Lee Priest is going to be there, and all in person on Sunday. Then I got Jose Raymond and Tony Freeman. Yep.
Nice.
X-Man.
All righty.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you
so much.
All right, so we'll just wrap it up. We'll just wrap it up here because talking about Natalia, I didn't see it, but again, Sarah should have known better. Even if she had deleted that post within a couple minutes, people screenshot things like immediately. It would have gotten out there anyway. But I don't know what she was thinking. I mean, what benefit does it do any champion who loses their title to come out and say this person beat me because they were cheating? Is what she's saying.
And Natalia never came out. And Natalia she placed second how many times in a row?
Several.
And every time, never said anything bad, never said anything disparaging whatsoever. But Ron, the tension backstage next year, that's the press conference that I want to see next year. Like, Bob's got to say something about that, because you can't let that just go, because it's just petty, man. You know what I mean? It's a petty thing to do, and you got to know better at this point. But it makes for a good year. Good talking point.
Right, so, I mean, Justin, we're looking at this right now. Natalia's got better legs than her. It's not even a question.
Better everything.
So I don't know if she's accusing her of if she's putting in her legs. I don't see it. Do you?
Listen, I wasn't up close. I don't see anything, but the judges were up close.
Right.
And there's no way that they would reward that if Natalia was walking out there like that. It's just,
Right.
Unfortunately, I think Sarah's just reaching.
Yeah.
You know, I think emotion got the best of her, and I think she's reaching. And, you know, and here's the truth of it, guys, is everyone's saying, you know, Sarah's career is done, this and that. Like, Sarah's got a great physique, the second best physique in the world. She's going to be back next year.
Yeah.
And chances are it's going to be them two again. The judges, no matter what happened online the other day, the judges aren't going to be like, oh, we remember that post. They're going to judge the body how they should be. You know, I personally just think it's Natalia's now going forward, just based on the improvements, based on her youth, based on her just being better. You know what I mean? But Sarah's not going to get penalized for this. It's just that they're not going to throw her in fourth place because of a post. That's not how this works. You know,
let me ask you this for you and Mike: should she make a post apologizing and saying, you know, I was really upset, or, you know, whatever, come up with some kind of reason why she made the post and say, I'm so sorry, it was very unprofessional? Would backpedaling like that help her or hurt her?
So I don't think it would help nor hurt her from like a judging perspective, because at the end of the day, the judges are judging bodies. They're not judging based off of drama and what people posted, even if it was a direct insult to them. I think that if she made an apology, it'd be more so to the league, you know, and to everything that she's an ambassador for. You know, not to tell you, if you want to have beef with another competitor, all right, whatever. Okay. No one's going to stop that. And it creates for, you know, the hype and all that stuff like that. But, you know, she needs to apologize to the judges. She needs to apologize to the league, in my opinion, you know, because at the end of the day, she's been our Olympia champion several times. And it's, you can't take a loss like that. No. You know, can't take a loss like that.
They may even suggest that she say something, you know what I mean, to make it look better, because like Justin said, you're an Olympic champion. You flashed 4 medals, so you won those things 4 times. You were an ambassador to the sport 4 times, and you never did anything like this for it. And she lost before, Ron. She didn't do this when she lost before. So this is something totally, I don't want to say out of character, but it makes you wonder what she says about her, like to her close people. Like how she really feels, right? And you can say what you want, but you got to keep that off social media, because when you hit send, it's there forever. There's a reason the reporters don't go in a football locker room right after a game. They give them a few minutes to calm down and decompress. So you think she should have ate a burger, had a cocktail, and just relaxed and not said shit. You know what I mean? Just use it as fuel. Now Natalia's the good guy. It's like wrestling. We got a heel and we got a baby face, you know?
I honestly, go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. The other reason why it's sad is because, you know, we look up to our Olympia champions, right? We look up to second place. We look up to third place. The women's physique division, I know at least at the local level and the national level, it's in terms of turnout, it's the weakest division now.
Yeah.
And that's how you want to be an ambassador for women's physique when it's a division that essentially is struggling, you know, in terms of the up and comers.
Yeah, I mean the USA Championships back in July. It's not the girls' fault that they had a terrible turnout, but it was like more than half. I think they had a total of like 12 or 13 in all 3 classes, height classes. Yeah, and I think 6 of them turned pro because of that.
Jesus. Yeah, well, whenever I see women's physique competitors on the local level, I get excited because I'm like, oh, great, you know. But there's not many of them, and it's like, if we can build that division back up, awesome. It's a fantastic division, but you know, when our second best in the world is talking like that, it's just not great.
And Sarah's got girls that look up to her too. You know, she's got she's got diehard fans, bro.
Exactly.
You know, so what are they thinking? What are your fans thinking? You know, that look up to you.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look, and I really hope she does some kind of apology, like, sorry guys, emotions were running high, because we know. I suspect she's been beaten before, but she has a cantankerous relationship. Is that the right word? She doesn't like Natalia. Natalia doesn't like her. I think that's been established.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine, but don't attack the judging. Don't attack things that you're saying were there that were not there.
Right. No, absolutely. It was when I saw that, I couldn't believe she had posted that. It's like, wow. I don't know her out of that well, but it seems out of character. I've never seen her say anything like that before. But again, maybe it's because she's been winning for so long. She's like, oh, I won. Great. And the one time she finally gets beat and it's by someone that she doesn't like, she really doesn't like, she went way over the top on this. And
yeah,
it's unfortunate. All right. That's enough about Sarah versus Natalia and that controversy. Gosh, we covered a lot of ground today. So appreciate you, Justin.
Yeah,
Check him out. Go ahead. Yeah. Check him out. His show, the NPC Rhode Island Championships. It's was it May this year? June?
May 30th, 2026 this year. Twin River.
30th? Yeah.
10 minutes from Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah. Great show. And Mike, as always, appreciate your time. You're on Team Lunsford, of course. So, guys, we went over a lot of stuff in this podcast, but let me know what you think in the comments about Nick Walker, about Mike Sommerfeld, about Derek Lunsford, about Samson, about Sarah, any of those things we talked about. Let me know what you think in the comments, because it is important to me and it helps the algorithm. And I don't know what an algorithm is, but I like it to be helped. I know that's a good thing. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. All of you who joined in the chat, all of you who watch live, and all of you watching on the replay, appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that great stuff. And we will see you right here next time.
Thank you, guys.